questions. And also please note that no agent code and full name is required to send in the Q&A. Attendance will be captured as long as you stay throughout the whole sessions. The completions of your attendance will be reflected in your island within 5 working days. All right, let's come to what's in it for you today. So today with great honor, we have Jen Chow, Executive Director and Tax Practice Leader from Tax Advisory YYC Group. I know some of you might have seen him on the TV or heard about him before on radio station, as he is frequently invited by media such as Bernama, TV2, 8TV, and various radio stations. So today he is going to share with you the great tips, what to do and what not to do in filing your personal and company taxes this year. So get yourself ready with your Elite Planner, a piece of paper and pen, your iPads, drop down any notes from the speaker, which could be useful for you and also your prospect. Remember, providing values to your prospect is the key to drive successful business. So without further ado, let's put our hands together and welcome Jen Chow. Over the floor to you, Zen.
All right, everyone. Good morning. Good morning. And thank you, Lawrence. Thank you, Lawrence, for that short introduction. Yeah, let me just start off by sharing my screen. Maybe I'll just check with Lawrence after this. Let me just put up my screen first and see if everyone can see me. All right, Lawrence, are you able to see my screen clearly? Are you able to hear me clearly, see my slides clearly? Just to check with you if everything is good.
Yes, I can see a handsome face over the screen.
Great. Thank you so much. Thank you, Lawrence. All right, let's get things started. And once again, good morning, everyone. Good morning, AIA. Just like what Lawrence has been saying. Good morning, AIA. Welcome. Yeah, and thank you for being so punctual. Yeah, and yeah, my name is Zen. Yeah, just now Lawrence has already introduced me. My name is Zen. I'm the tax practice leader of YYC Group. And today, you know, what I want to share with you would be the budget 2024 highlights. Yep, I know budget has been announced quite some time ago, but I must say, there will be some of the highlights which you probably missed out or you probably do not know. And these highlights could be very important, whether you are, you know, an individual or you are running your own business. You know, these things could probably help you save tax. And having said that, the save tax means what? Means save money. Yeah, means save money. That means you have more money. Yeah, that's a saying. Every penny saved is a penny earned, right? So here, I want to tell you about what are the highlights, yeah, in budget 2024 that you must know, All right, now, in case if you say, okay, I've heard about YYC, you know, you're from YYC, but who is YYC really? Now, let me just take just 1 minute to introduce to you who YYC is, in case if you do not know. YYC is an advisory and accounting firm established since 1974. That means we are 50 years old this year. Yeah, I know we're still doing 49 years old logo over here, but we're 50 years old this year. And our motto is to empower entrepreneurial success through XPX. That means we want to share our expertise with everyone. We want to give the most proactive care to everyone. And to our clients, we want them to have the most positive experience ever. Now, if you still think YYC is just like any other ordinary firm, no, we're not like a normal accounting firm here, because a normal accounting firm would only have compliance services like audit, like tax services, accounting services. Yeah, but we have much more than that with our very own advisory services. Yeah, with tax advisory, strategic planning, restructuring, etc. We have our own business school as well. That means we do a lot of workshops, seminars, webinars from time to time. And we have our own tech platform, that is YYC Book Success and TaxPod, Tax Professionals on Demand. Now, so I was saying YYC is 50 years old this year, no longer 49, and we are also an international firm. We don't just have presence in Malaysia, but also in Singapore. We have more than 800 employees, serving more than 20,000 clients, trained more than 140,000 participants through all our workshops, because we've done more than 6,000 workshops so far, yeah? And these are all the awards given to YYC throughout all these years. All right. Now, so just now Lawrence has said, yeah, I was frequently invited by the media, to do a lot of sharing. So some of you may probably think, hey, Zen, you look very young to be a director, executive director, and tax practice leader in YYC Group. But let me tell you what, let me be very honest. I have been in this industry for more than 18 years. Yes, 18 years, yeah, 1-8. And this is my 19th year in this industry, all right? So yeah, I indirectly revealed my age. You just have to do a simple calculation and you will know how old I am right now, isn't it? Yeah, and I'm also a licensed tax agent, having the tax agent license issued by the Ministry of Finance. And recently I was recognized by, the National Consumer Action Council as one of the Malaysia influential educators as well. All right, so that's just a very brief introduction about, my firm and myself. But here, what's most important is I want to bring to you what are the budget 2024 highlights. Now, usually I'll check with everyone, if you are ready for this, Now maybe, AIA, if you are ready, can you just put ready? I know you can't probably use the chat box. You probably use the Q&A box. Just type ready in Q&A, to tell me that you're ready. I can in fact see, all your comments in the Q&A, yeah, right? If you're ready to learn, can you just put READY, ready? Use the Q&A, yeah, put ready. And also along the way, let me tell you, along the way, if you have got any questions at all, any questions, yeah, feel free to use the Q&A function. I have my team over here, my tax expert team is here. They will be answering to your questions, yeah, that you have posted into the Q&A. All right, so if you're ready, can you just right now type ready in the Q&A, yeah? We won't publish that ready, it's not a question, but we can see it. We can actually see your ready over there. So put ready in the Q&As to tell me that you're ready. I know there are 1,000 of you, and let's get things started. And let me remind you, yeah, if you've got any questions, put your questions into the Q&A and my team will be answering to you. All right, can see everyone is ready right now. Now, let me just start off by telling you what do I want to tell you, what do I want to share with you. First thing first, what are the proposals from Budget 2024 that affects you as an individual? I know you are an individual taxpayer, right? But what are the things that affect you? This is very important, isn't it? Then I'll talk about proposals affecting businesses. What are the tax incentives available for businesses? Tax exemptions, So people who want to save tax for their business, want to pay less tax due to incentives and exemptions. These are the things. Then I'll move on and talk about indirect tax, stamp duty, and other types of tax highlights as well. So these are the three things that I want to bring to you. And the very first one is proposals affecting individuals. Now, first thing first, okay? What is the new thing from 2024 that affects you as an individual? This thing, the lifestyle relief, the tax relief for lifestyle. Now, I know a lot of you probably has been claiming this already, yeah? You probably know that, okay, now if I have spent some money purchasing books, magazines, computers, smartphones, tablets, or even sports equipment, including my gym membership, internet subscription, well, I do get tax relief up to 2,500 ringgit. Yes, that's entirely true. That's very true. But did you know what happened in 2024? Something has changed in 2024. And this is good news, yeah? Let me tell you what, this is good news. Why do I say so? Because with effect from year of assessment 2024, it is expanded. It is now expanded to even cover the fees for self-skills enhancement costs. Wow, what does that mean? That means even if you attend to some courses that actually upskill yourself, yeah, increase your skills. Like for example, I go for dancing lessons, I go for baking lessons, or even someone says I go for cooking lessons. Yeah? But of course, some would say, hey, cooking is a skill. You sure? Well, if it is, nowadays a lot of people actually do not cook at home. Yeah. So if you go for all these classes, as long as it increases your skills, yeah, cooking classes, dancing classes, even language class, yeah, that is now included in this 2,500 ringgit lifestyle relief. So that's what you can do to take advantage, yeah, of your lifestyle relief. All right. Now, but there's also one thing over here, and it says, purchase of sports equipment and gym membership fees are now excluded from this 2,500 ringgit with effect from 2024. So is this a bad thing? No, it's not a bad thing. You know why? Because they now have another independent tax relief. an independent tax relief relating to sports equipment and the other activities with effect from year 2024. Yeah, we actually have seen that, hey, there was a 500 ringgit, for sports equipment previously. Now it becomes 1,000 ringgit. Yep, it becomes 1,000 ringgit. And this 1,000 ringgit now includes all your purchase of sports equipment, your gym membership fees, all those goes into this 1,000 ringgit. And it is also expanded to all your fees, when if you go for any entrance fees, your participation in competition, or even if you go for any training, sports training, Now, sports training has to be done by whom? Now, it can be done by a sports club or societies registered with the Commission of Sports, or just a company. Just a company means just a sendirian berhad. So as long as you take on some sports training. Now, for example, if I go for taekwondo class. Hey, it's taekwondo a sports? Yes, it is. Yeah. If I say, oh, I go for swimming class, it's swimming sports? Yes, swimming is definitely sports. So you see, all these now gives you relief up to 1,000 ringgit. So you know what? If you know how to take advantage of these two things, the lifestyle relief and this sports equipment and activities relief, you can easily get up to 3,500 ringgit relief. So these are the good news for 2024 for individual to start off with. All right. Now, apart from that, what else do we have? Now, we know that currently, previously, we already have this income tax relief for medical treatment up to 10,000 ringgit. Yeah. But now this thing was actually supposed to be for serious disease, which I always say, if possible, I do not want you to claim this relief. You know why? Because if you say you're claiming this 10,000 ringgit relief for serious disease, well, you probably claim for your first year, you claim for your second year, maybe third year, you will stop claiming. You know why do I say that? You're probably not here anymore, right? Yeah, because it's serious disease. Serious disease means something that's really serious, like AIDS, cancer, or a tumor. All these are really serious disease. So you do not want to claim them, right? But no. I'm not saying that you must have serious disease to claim this 10,000. Yeah, but even if you say I go for fertility treatment, well, I can still claim this. Yeah, and fertility treatment is not actually serious disease. Things like IVF, IUI. Yeah, and in the 10,000 ringgit, there's also vaccination. Yeah, but that's limited to 1,000 ringgit. You can go for full body medical checkup. You can go for health screening. But that has to be a full body medical checkup, full health examination, which means it's not just urine tests and blood tests are not just that, right? It means, a full body medical examination means you go for blood tests, you go for urine tests, then there's ECG, there is ultrasound, there is X-ray, and at the end, there's also a consultation session, done by the doctor, and that gives you relief up to 1,000 ringgit as well. And well, even if you say I have children that has learning disabilities like autism, Down syndromes, you can also claim relief up to 4,000 ringgit, which are all included in this 10,000. Now, what's the good news in 2024? This scope is now expanded further to even dental examination and treatment. Yes, that means in this 10,000 ringgit right now, you can also claim up to 1,000 ringgit if you go for dental examination and all kinds of dental treatment. So people were asking me, hey, if I go for crowning, I go for dentures, definitely, no problem. Yeah, you go for scaling, no problem. So all these would give you 1,000. So this year, now please remember to check your teeth very often. Yeah, okay. Now, what else? Year 2024, we also see this relief scope being expanded. This is the tax relief for your medical expenses for parents. Now, we know previously, we have up to 8,000 ringgit relief if we, have to take care of our parents and, send them to nursing homes, or we have to spend money on their medical treatments, that gives us relief up to 8,000 ringgit. But from 2024 onwards, this is now even is expanded to even, full medical examination. Now, did you know that something really ironic earlier was that, hey, I want to take care of my parents. So, if they're sick, I bring them to hospital, I bring them to clinic, and I have to spend some money, I get relief. But what if I want to do prevention? I want to take prevention measures. I do not want them to fall sick, so I bring them for medical examination. Previously, no relief. But from 2024 onwards, you can get relief up to 1,000 ringgit. And then again, it has to be a full medical examination. Yeah. And from 2024 onwards, if you bring your parents for dental examination and treatment, like teeth restoration, replacement involving crowning, root canal, or dentures, no problem. Yeah, all these give you relief up to 1,000 ringgit. Okay, so here all right, this relief is now expanded from 2024 onwards. Okay, so take care of our parents. Now, what else? Okay, the next relief that I want to talk about, this is really, really good for women taxpayers. Now, so guys out there, yeah, males out there, I'm so sorry. This is not for you. This is only for women taxpayer, right? And now let me just continue. If you are, a woman, if you're a woman, you are a lady, you're a female, and if you're working right now, I'm sorry again, this is not for you. Yes, if you're working right now, this is not for you. Why do I say that? Because this is actually for someone, a woman, who has not worked for some time, and now they decide to come back to work. This is called the Tax Incentive for Women Career Comeback Program. Now, what is this incentive all about? Now, as long as you are a female, right, you have worked before, you must have worked before, but you have taken a career break. Maybe, after delivery of your baby, you feel like you want to be a housewife for a while. And if you say for at least 2 years, you have not worked, now come back to work. Come back to work. Now you will say, I'm working right now, so this is not applicable to me. But you know what? Spread this news to all your, relatives, your cousin, sister, maybe your parents, or even your niece. Spread this news to them, right? Tell them, hey, if you have not worked for at least 2 years, come back to work. Apply to Talent Corp, Talent Corporation Malaysia Berhad. Apply for this incentive, and you know what this is all about? You can get 12 consecutive months. We're talking about 12 consecutive months here, tax exemption on your employment income, which means for one whole year's employment income, your salary, you don't have to pay tax at all, zero. Yeah. So of course, this person has to apply with Talent Corp, and it is applicable to the employment income from 2025 to 2028. Yeah. So you choose 1 year, and that 12 consecutive months, it's totally tax exempted. So application has started from 1st January, and it will be until 31st December 2027. So please spread this news to those that you know. All right. Now, apart from that, there's also another incentive for, again, not for you. You know why? Because I believe if not all, most of you are working in Malaysia, right? I believe you are working in Malaysia. So these incentives is for someone that is not working in Malaysia. So if you know of any friends, your relatives, your family members, who is not working in Malaysia right now, encourage them to come back to Malaysia. Why? Because we're talking about returning expert program. Now, what is returning expert program? If someone, but this person has to be a Malaysian, yeah? This person has to be Malaysian. If this Malaysian has been working overseas for some time, ask them to come back, and they enjoy a 15% flat income tax rate for 5 consecutive years. Now, did you know that, as an individual in Malaysia, I believe our tax rate, well, of course, it's as low as 0%, but it's as high as 30%. That's our maximum tax rate, 30%. And I would say on average, most of us will be paying 20 over percent. But, well, returning expert pays 15% flat rate for 5 consecutive years, and they also get exemption. They get exemption for excise duty for the purchase of a completely knocked down vehicle, CKD vehicle, that means locally assembled vehicle, up to 100,000 ringgit. So this also, that person has to apply with Talent Corp, and it has started from 1st January 2024 all the way until 31st December 2027. So please spread this news to your friends, your family, or whoever Malaysian has been working overseas. Get them to come back and apply. All right. Now, so these are the good news for individuals, of course. Yeah. Now, the next thing is, what if you are running a business? I know some of you run your own business. You're probably a sole proprietor. You're probably having a partnership, or even a Sdn Bhd, some of you. So what are the proposals affecting your business? Yeah. What are the tax incentives? What are the tax exemptions available for businesses? Here, I want to tell you what are these highlights. First thing first, I want to talk about tax deduction on ESG related expenditure. What is ESG? It stands for environmental, social, and governance. Okay. Now I know a lot of you would probably, say, well, ESG, this is for big timers, Well, I think AIA would have to look into ESG, AIA definitely have to look into ESG, but me, a small timer, I probably don't care about ESG, right? Now, let me tell you what, yeah. ESG is not just applicable to big corporations, it would be applicable to you as well. You know why? Yeah, because from 2024 until 2027, yeah, from year of assessment 2024 until year of assessment 2027, if you actually incur expenses on ESG related items, yeah, that means if you have got ESG related expenditure, you get tax deduction up to 50,000 ringgit. Up to 50,000 ringgit. So what do I mean by ESG related expenditure? Now, let me show you. The first thing is ESG reporting by companies listed on Bursa Malaysia. Now, I know you will tell me, nah, I see, I've told you, ESG is for big corporations, listed companies on Bursa. Well, yes, if you are a listed company, you do ESG reporting, yes, you get tax deduction. Well, if you do ESG reporting by financial institutions regulated by Bank Negara, I think AIA is, yeah, well, then of course you get tax deduction. But no, I'm not saying only these two. Look at this. Hey, have you heard about transfer pricing documentation? Now, if you say, yeah, I've heard about this transfer pricing documentation, and I've also heard that if I prepare transfer pricing documentation, it's going to be very costly. It's going to be very expensive. And did you know that previously it was non-tax deductible? You don't get tax deduction. But now, from 2024 until 2027, if you incur any cost to prepare your transfer pricing documentation, you get tax deduction up to 50,000 ringgit. And having said that, there's another one which is even more applicable to you, that is e-invoicing implementation. Now, I know a lot of you have heard about this thing already, e-invoicing, which is going to start very soon. The biggest, all the large corporations will have to start doing it, this year itself. Now, if you say, hey, I'm a small timer, but I still need someone to come and consult me, give me consultation on how to implement e-invoicing, yeah? Well, you also get tax deduction up to 50,000 ringgit for all these consultation fees that you have to pay for your e-invoicing implementation. So you see, I'm not saying that you must be a big corporation. Even if you say I'm a small, medium enterprise, well, if you incur expenses on these things, well, you get tax deduction up to 50,000 ringgit. So please take advantage of this. All right. Now, the next thing on businesses would be the capital allowance for information and communication technology equipment. Okay, now like computers equipment, software, now some people would say, hey, right now, if I buy a computer, if I buy some computer equipment, well, I get something called capital allowance. Yes, you do. Yeah, you get something called capital allowance. And in case if you do not know what capital allowance is all about, well, it means you buy a computer, you don't get a tax deduction immediately on the full cost. You don't, right? You get a certain percentage over a few years. Yeah, right? So right now, if you buy a computer, yeah, you get 20% initial allowance and 20% annual allowance. That means a total of 40% allowance for the first year, right? After that, you get 20% every year until you claim the full 100% of the cost, of your computer. But what happens in 2024 is that the capital allowance rate now becomes accelerated, which means first year, when you buy a computer or computer equipment, you get 40% plus 20%. Which means 60% allowance is given to you for the first year. And of course, for the next 2 years, you get 20% each, which means instead of using 4 years to claim, full capital allowance for my computer, I only need 3 years. So this helps a lot of businesses, to reduce their tax earlier, right? And it actually helps you in terms of your cash flow. Okay, so this is good news for business. The other one that I want to talk about is electric vehicle. Now, having said that, I'm not saying electric vehicle, buy electric vehicle, which gives you an incentive and things like that. No. I'm not talking about buying electric vehicle or buying EVs, because incentives for EV, it has been announced since and then during the previous budget, where we have import duty exemption, we have excise duty exemption. That's the incentives for purchasing EVs. But what I want to tell you is now, Is your business renting any car? You know, some corporations, some companies, instead of buying cars, they will rent cars. You know why? Because they say car depreciates really fast. Yeah, car depreciates so fast that I don't want to buy a car and after using it for 3 years, 4 years, and when I change my car and when I want to sell my car, you know, it depreciates so fast that I don't even get half of the, you know, original price when I sell it. Yeah, that happens, right? So some companies do not buy car, they rent cars. Now, if you are one of those companies who likes to rent cars, rent an EV instead. You know why? Now, did you know? If you rent a normal car, you know, which is non-EV, I'm talking about conventional car, non-EV, you know, we call it ICE, yeah, ICE car. Well, you pay rental for the car. That's a limit to your tax deduction. 50,000 or 100,000 depending on the value of the car. That means no matter how much rental you pay, maximum deduction you get is only 50,000 or 100,000. But if you rent EV, you get up to 300,000 tax deduction. 300,000 tax deduction for the rental that you pay for the rental of EVs. Yeah. So this thing has been introduced, yeah, since the last budget from 2023 to 2025. Now it extended 2 more years to 2027. So if you have been renting cars for your company, rent an EV instead. All right. Now let me just go on and talk more about, you know, the tax treatment for micro, small, and medium-sized companies, okay? Or we always call them SMEs. Now, this is something very important. If you are running a Sendirian Berhad, let's say, you're running a Sendirian Berhad, and if you know that this Sendirian Berhad is an SME, okay? Did you know that from the previous budget, it has already been mentioned here that from 2024 onwards, with effect from 2024 onwards, you know, the preferential tax rates for SMEs, 15%, 70% will not apply if more than 20% of the shares of your company are actually owned by companies outside Malaysia, overseas company, or non-citizens, that means foreigners. So if you have more than 20% of your shares owned by foreigners or foreign companies, you don't get to enjoy preferential tax rates, 15%, 70%. No, you pay 24% tax. Yeah. And from this budget, now says even if your companies have more than 20%, yeah, shares owned by foreigners, foreign companies, you now also cannot enjoy the exemption of filing of tax estimates for the first 2 years. Because as a new company, we usually get 2 years exemption for filing tax estimates. This doesn't apply to you anymore if more than 20% of your shares owned by foreigners. And also, for your special allowance for small value assets, it will be restricted to just 20,000. Yeah. So now more restrictions, you know, to be applied on companies owned by foreigners, more than 20% owned by foreigners. So this is something for you to take note if you're running a Sendirian Berhad and with more than 20% shares owned by a foreigner. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is some tax incentive. When it comes to tax incentive, a lot of people will be very interested. They say, no, tell me more. I want to know how I can save more tax, yeah? Because I want to save tax. All right, the first thing I want to talk about is tax incentive for ECF, equity crowdfunding. Now, some of you probably have not heard about equity crowdfunding. Now, usually this is done by startup companies, yeah, startup companies where they can't get fundings, yeah, from the bank. The bank doesn't want to lend money to you, you know, because you're just a startup. So you go to the equity crowdfunding platform, you know, the ECF platform, and you start getting everyone, you know, to give you money, so that you have money, you have fund to run your startup business, all right? So if you say you are one of those who say, hey, I want to invest into these kind of startups, and if you do it through ECF, you know what? You get tax incentive because the amount that you invest, yeah, into these companies through ECF, you get 50% of your invested amount as a tax exemption amount onto your own income. That means you get tax exemption on your aggregate income equivalent to 50% of your invested amount. Wow. That means if I invest 100,000, I get 50,000 exemption. Yes. If you invest 200,000, hey, if I invest 200,000, then I get 100,000 exemption? No. Huh? Why no? I thought you said 50%? Because it's limited to only 50,000 for each year. All right. And it's also limited to 10% of your own aggregate income. Yeah. So you always have to look at, hey, how much is my aggregate income? Yeah. If I'm earning a total income of 100,000, then I probably only have 10,000, yeah, for this. If I'm earning 1 million, then yes, I have 10% of it. That means I have 100,000, yeah, right? But it's limited to 50,000, yeah. So I don't get 100,000 as well. So I would say the best amount to invest is probably 100,000, but provided your aggregate income is at least 500,000 because it's limited to 10%, yeah. So, well, if you say, hey, I've been looking into all this investment and want to get incentives as well, go and do it. Go and do it. Yeah. Now, this thing was supposed to end, in 2023. But the good news here is it's extended. It's extended, yeah, from 2024 to 2026. That means it's extended all the way to 2026, which means you can still continue to do this, yeah, and you can also invest not just directly into the ECF platform, you can do it through the limited liability partnership nominee company as well. You can do it through LLP nominee company as well, yeah. So, well, but let me remind you, yeah, investment through ECF into the startups, yeah, it's always either you make it or you break it. Yeah, either you make it or you break it. So these are, the trend of startups. Yeah, but well, this is something good for you if you want to invest. Now, the other incentive again, yeah. If you think, hey, I want something else, I want to invest into something else, and if you say you are a high net worth person, if you say I earn a lot, I'm a high net worth taxpayer, or I'm a high income earner, this is probably good for you. This is called the angel investor tax incentive. What is that? It sounds so cool, right? Being an angel, if I invest, then I become an angel. Yeah. Well, this is called the angel investor incentive, of which, first of all, you got to apply. Yeah, you have to apply to become an angel investor. Yeah, with the Malaysian Business Angel Network. Yeah, MBAN. You got to apply because you have to show that you're a high net worth person, you're earning high income, and if you invest into all those tech startup company, you get tax exemption equivalent to the amount of investment you make. So this is not 50% anymore. It's 100% of what you invest. You invest 100,000, you get 100,000 exemption. You invest 50,000, you get 50,000 exemption. Yeah, this is angel investor incentive. Yeah, but of course you have to apply to become an angel investor. And this thing was supposed to end in 2023, now extended until 2026. Okay, so another good thing for high net worth person, yeah, to get some tax savings. All right, the next one I want to talk about would be maybe not too relevant to you because I know all of you are probably agents, but I just want to show you a little bit, which is a really popular incentive for manufacturing companies or manufacturing related services company or even agriculture companies. Yeah, because if these companies, whether they are doing manufacturing related services or agricultural companies, and if they do automation in their whole process, yeah, they get 200% tax incentive. What do I mean by 200% over here? 100% in the form of accelerated capital allowance and another 100% in the form of tax exemption. 200% altogether onto whatever capital expenditure that they have incurred, which means if they invest into machines, machineries, plants, that help them to automate the whole process. Let's say they invest 1 million, they get 2 million worth of allowance and exemption. And they can invest up to 10 million ringgit, which means they can get up to 20 million accelerated capital allowance and tax exemption. Now, this has to be applied through MIDA or MAFS, and this application is open up to 2027. So this is something that we probably want to share with your clients, if your clients are in, any manufacturing sector, agriculture sector who wants to do automation. All right. And now in 2024's budget, this scope is also expanded to include commodity sector under the Ministry of Plantation and Commodities. All right. So just to share with you this tax incentive. Now, the other one, now this is applicable to everyone. Yeah, this is applicable to everyone. Doesn't mean you have to be in the manufacturing sector or agriculture sector. Nope. This is called the green technology tax incentive. Now, when I say green technology, it means you have to buy green asset. Okay. Now, but please don't think wrongly. Please don't make it wrongly and say, oh, okay, green asset. That means I have to buy something painted in green, or I have to buy something that is green color. There was this joke that someone was telling me. You say they went to this shopping mall, and the shopping mall has some special parking lots, right, which says for green vehicles only. And you know what? Then Myvi in green color park there and they say, yeah, I'm parking at the right spot. You know, I'm a green Myvi and I park at a parking lot that says for green vehicle, right? So that's not the green I'm talking about, right? I'm talking about environmental friendly asset. Yeah, when I talk about green technology. So you know what? Previously, we know that if we invest into green asset, for example, buying solar system, yeah, well, these are all called green assets, right? Now, previously, we already see a lot of tax incentives going on. Someone who rents their solar, yeah, solar leasing, they get 70% exemption, 70% exemption for their business income. And if you buy green assets, you get 100% allowance, yeah, for your asset, and you can set it off against 70% of your income. Now, of course, all these has to be applied through MIDA. Now, this was the previous one until 2023. And in 2024, now they split it into different categories. If you say I'm doing guitar project, now what is guitar project? Business purpose. Let's take solar again. If I buy solar panel, not for my own use, not for my business use, but I'm using it to generate income. This is my business. I buy solar panels, I build a solar farm, and I generate electricity, I sell electricity. Now, this is called guitar project. Well, I can get 100% allowance onto whatever that I invest. And this is on top of the ordinary capital allowance that I already have here. So this is an extra 100%. But if you say, oh, no, I'm not doing what solar farm, I'm only buying it for my own company. I'm installing it on my rooftop. I'm using it for my manufacturing. I'm using it for my business. Well, you still get allowance 60%. Yep. You get 60% allowance, yeah, if you buy renewable energy system. Solar is one of them. And that is additional 60% for you, yeah. And of course, if you say I still continue, I'm a solar leasing company, I rent out my solar system, and I earn rental income, you get 70% exemption onto your rental income, yeah. And it can be 5 years or 10 years, depending on how much, yeah, electricity that you have generated. So of course, all these has to be applied, yeah, through MIDA, yeah, until 2026. And if you buy any guitar asset, like say the solar system for your own use, please get it verified by the MGTC, that's the Malaysian Green Technology Corporation, yeah, MGTC. You need them to verify your asset. So these are good news if you say I'm gonna buy green assets. All right. Now, next thing I want to talk about would be part 3. Now, part 3, I want to talk about indirect tax, stamp duty, and some other matters. Now, first thing first, when I talk about indirect tax, I have to go into service tax. Because yes, service tax, SST, yes, service tax is one of the indirect taxes. And why is this very important? Because it's probably affecting you as well, yeah? Because the scope has now expanded. Yes, the scope of service tax is now expanded. Did you know that from 1st March onwards, which is not far from now, maybe another 1 month plus, yeah, 1 month lah, right? Another 1 month from now, we see all these services expanded to what now? Previously, if you go to nightclub, you go to some beer house, bar, you get charged a service tax. But now it's expanded to even karaoke center. Yeah, if you go for karaoke, you have to pay additional service tax for this. Yeah, and how much service tax? I'll tell you more. About that. Yeah, you have to pay service tax. Yeah, for your karaoke. And previously, did you know that if you pay for delivery services, you don't pay service tax? But from 1st March onwards, even delivery services will be subject to service tax, except for delivery of food and beverages. That means if you order food from, let's say, GrabFood, Shopee Food, Food Panda, well, you pay for delivery, isn't it, right? Those are not subject to service tax. So don't worry, if you can continue, yeah, to buy food online, and get it delivered to your doorstep. But all other types of delivery services, yes, they will be subject to service tax from 1st March onwards. Now, even brokerage and underwriting services, yeah, they are all subject to service tax. And I know in your line, you do a lot of brokerage, right? You do a lot of brokerage. That is all subject to service tax, yeah? Even logistics services, and logistics services covers everything, from courier, freight forwarding, or transportation, warehousing. All of these will be subject to service tax from 1st of March onwards. So now expanded. But the good thing is, okay, now, even though we say it has been expanded, and remember, there's another thing, from 1st March onwards, yeah, the service tax rate is also increased from 6% to 8%. I think all of you have heard about this already, right? In 1 month time, we will see our service tax rate increase from 6% to 8%. That's from 1st March onwards. But of course, the good news is There are four industries of which service tax will remain at 6%. So instead of 8%, these four industries, they will still charge only 6% service tax. Food and beverage. So yes, if we go to a restaurant, we dine in a restaurant, well, we don't pay 8% service tax, we pay only 6%, all right? Vehicle parking space, yes, all your parking charges is still 6%. Telecommunication, all your mobile phone services, your broadband services, yes, still 6%. And just now I was telling you the new service, logistic, yes, even though it has been expanded to logistic, but still the tax rate is 6%, not 8%. Yeah, but you have to understand from 1st March onwards, anything apart from these four categories, they will be charged at 8%. Okay. Now, the next thing about indirect tax here, other taxes here is stamp duty. Okay. Now, but this is only applicable if you are a non-citizen. I believe if not all, most of you are Malaysians, right? I believe so. Now, but if you say I'm a non-citizen, let's say, okay, I'm non-citizen. Now, did you know that as a non-citizen, yeah, well, I was probably put it this way. Whether you're a citizen or non-citizen, when you buy a property, you know there is stamp duty to be paid, isn't it? Yeah, as a transferee. That means if someone transfer the property to you, yeah, you got to pay stamp duty, and that's at valorem rate. At valorem rate means what? 1%, 2%, 3%, 4%. It goes by tiers depending on the value of your property, and you have to start paying from 1%, then the next tier is 2%, and so forth. The maximum is 4%. But from 2024, 1st January onwards, a non-citizen does not pay at valorem rate anymore. It's 4% flat rate. That means no matter how much, no matter what is the value of the property, as long as this non-citizen has to pay stamp duty, he pays 4% flat rate. Yeah, so this is something that you probably want to know. If you say, hey, I've got some clients who wants to buy property in Malaysia, and this person is a non-citizen, and please remind them, it's 4% flat rate for stamp duty. Okay, now, the other thing that I probably want to tell you a little bit, I cannot go very in-depth, but I'll just tell you a little bit is the e-invoicing timeline has also been revised, okay? From this budget 2024, they changed the timeline for the implementation of e-invoicing, okay? Now, I believe some of you have already known what is e-invoicing, yeah? We know that in future when e-invoicing is being implemented, whatever transaction that you do, you don't do a normal invoice, you don't issue a normal invoice that you're issuing right now. You got to use the e-invoicing system. You got to go to the e-invoice system or the e-invoice portal, yeah, by the government, by the Inland Revenue Board, and issue e-invoice using the system. Yeah, there's a specific format for that e-invoice. Okay, so this thing, yeah, has been announced long time ago, yeah, since the last budget. But previously they said, okay, the implementation timeline was like this. If you're a big corporations, big corporations means your annual sales more than 100 million. Okay, now when we talk about annual sales, we talk about year 2022 sales, year 2022 sales. Okay, if your annual sales more than 100 million, you got to start implementing from 1st June. That was the previous timeline, yeah. But now it has been amended to 1st August, so we have got a 2 months breather over here. But the next categories, more than 50 million sales, more than 25 million sales. Previously, it was 1st January 2025 and 2026, but now combined to become 1st January 2025. So more than 25 million sales up to 100 million, 1st January 2025, they have to start implementing e-invoicing. And what about all other categories? If you say, I'm small, I'm not up to, I don't even have more than 25 million sales, well, all other businesses, previously, it was said that you have to start implementing from 1st January 2027, but now it was brought forward by 18 months to 1st July 2025, which means you have to start implementing e-invoicing. Even you say, I'm a very small company, you have to start doing it from 1st July 2025, which is not far from now, yeah. I would say it's like, what, 15 months, right? Another 15 months left. So please, right? Sorry. 17 months, another 17 months left. So you probably want to be, prepared for this, yeah? All right, now, the next thing I want to talk about is high value goods tax. Well, we don't have a lot of information yet, but what we know is that high value goods tax will be imposed at the rate of 5% to 10%, yeah, depending on, what type of goods it is, which is still not announced yet. But what we know is that it's going to be introduced from 1st May 2024 onwards. Okay, now I know a lot of people would ask me, what do you mean by high value goods? Do you mean luxury goods? And how do you define luxury goods? Okay, now this is how much we know, right? It will definitely not be on brands. I know some of you may probably think about brands. Oh, so does it mean if I buy bags that start with L, bags that starts with H, or watches that starts with R, all these I will get imposed a high value goods tax? Now, they would definitely not go by brand. They would go by value. Yeah, they would definitely put a threshold, a value threshold onto all these goods. And if any brands, yeah, of which the selling price exceeds that threshold, they will be subject to this high value goods tax. Yeah, but we got to wait for more information, from the government. Then we'll know more. Right. So this thing will start on 1st May 2024. So my advice to you is buy now, don't wait. Those who want to buy all the branded goods, buy now, don't wait until 1st May 2024. All right. Okay, now the next thing I want to talk about is capital gains tax. I know a lot of people have heard about this and they're worried. They say, hey, we heard that right now there's capital gains tax in Malaysia. And that means if I sell shares of a company and if I make money, I have to pay tax. Well, that's true. But first of all, let me tell you, this is only applicable for disposal of unlisted shares, which means disposal of shares of an unlisted company. So if you say I've been buying shares, of a listed company online, I've been buying shares from listed companies on Bursa and I sell shares, don't worry, that is not applicable. Yeah, I mean, that is not subject to capital gains tax. Okay, so capital gains tax is only applicable to non-listed company shares. Yeah, and this is with effect from 1st March. Again, 1 month from now. 1st March onwards. Okay, we see that if you dispose of shares of an unlisted company and if you make a gain, you got to pay 10% capital gains tax on it. 10%. Yeah, all right. But now, if you have acquired the shares previously before 1st of March, and you say, I have purchased the shares long time ago. I probably forgot how much I purchased this. So how do I know how much gain I'm making? Don't worry. If you have purchased those shares before 1st March and you sell right now, after 1st March, you have a choice. You can either pay 10% on the profit or you just pay 2% on the sales value. Yeah, instead of just calculating how much I make, I just pay 2% on the sales value. But whatever shares that you acquire after 1st March, from 1st March onwards, you have to pay 10% on the net profit. Now, I know now a lot of people think that, hey, then I also own a lot of shares of unlisted companies, and what if I sell my shares later and I have to start paying this capital gains tax, right? Let me tell you, this is only applicable to companies, limited liability partnership, cooperative society, or even a trust body. So if you say, hey, I'm not a company who owns shares, I'm not an LLP, that means these are all called corporate shareholders, If you say, hey, I'm not a company owning these shares, I'm not an LLP, I'm not a trust body, I'm an individual. I'm an individual owning shares of an unlisted company, yeah? Don't worry. Even if you sell shares of this unlisted company as an individual shareholder, capital gains tax is not applicable to you. Yep, you will not be subject to capital gains tax because capital gains tax is only applicable to corporate shareholders who sell shares of an unlisted company. All right, got it, yeah? So don't be too worried with this capital gains tax unless you are a company and owning shares of another unlisted company. Okay? All right, so, well, I have covered all the 3 highlights for today. Now, before I go into Q&A, I have some time for Q&A, of which I will be able to answer to your questions directly, verbally. Now, before I go into the Q&A session, now let me just, promote my pages a little bit to you, right? Now, if you say, I want to know more about all these tax updates, I want to know more on how to save tax as an individual, follow my TikTok. I have a TikTok account over here. Go to my TikTok account, search for Tax Guru Zen Chow, and get more updates. Or go to Facebook, search for Tax Guru Zen Chow. I'll be able to I can tell you more. All right. Now, I think Lawrence is back up here. So Lawrence, should we go for Q&A session? Should I just, continue and go for Q&A session? Or is that okay, Lawrence?
Yes. All right. Jen, if you look at the live event Q&A, there's something that you want to address, you can just simply, give the answers.
No problem. All right, now let me just continue. All right, let me just, I see Tan Jinhua has a question over here. Okay, Tan Jinhua was asking this, saying that, hey, you know what is LLP? LLP is actually perkongsian liability terhad. Now, if you now see some entities that ends with PLT at the end, these are all LLP, yeah, limited liability partnership. So it's a partnership, but it has limited liability. Okay, now let me just carry on. And I see, wow, I think I like this. There was one question here, right? I've just published from Chung Woon Kwong asking, a hearing aid considered as medical treatment or not? Hearing aid is not medical treatment, but hearing aid is also eligible for tax relief if you are a disabled. Now, so this is what I wanted to tell you. If you say, hey, I've got the OKU card, yeah, from the Department of Social Welfare. I've got an OKU card. I need the hearing aid, you know, to help me. The hearing aid is an equipment that would allow you to claim tax relief as well, because we have got tax relief for equipment for disabled. All right. All right. Let me carry on. All right. Let me see. I'll answer to this question. Hold on. Let me see. Okay. Wait. Okay, I'll probably answer to this question. This is from Tan Jinhua again. Now, Tan Jinhua is asking, what about product bought from Shopee? Is it subject to service tax? Now, service tax is only applicable to service. Yeah? If you buy a product, when I say product means goods, right? If you buy goods, this is not subject to service tax. Yeah, it's not subject to service tax. But now, let me just tell you a little bit. Let me tell you a little bit more. Now, I think some of you have heard about this thing called low value goods tax. Yeah, I know it's not covered today because it's not under budget 2024. Now, from this year onwards, 1st January onwards, if you buy something online, and if this thing was shipped from overseas into Malaysia, as long as it is being shipped from overseas into Malaysia, yeah, and you buy this online, and this is a low value goods. Low value goods means not more than 500 ringgit, yeah, not more than 500 ringgit per item. You will be charged a 10% low value goods sales tax, yeah, LVG sales tax, yeah. So that is some extra info that I want to tell you. All right, now let's see. I have got more question. Wow, this is from Natalie. All right, I'll just look at Natalie's question. Now, Natalie is asking this. Just now you mentioned about tax relief for sports. Is it for self only? What about kids sports? You know, can I claim like swim lessons? Definitely yes, Natalie. So when I talk about all those tax relief for lifestyle, you know, for sports related, it is for yourself, your spouse means your wife or husband, and your kids, your children. So as long as you spend money on these things, whether it is for yourself, your spouse, or your children, you get tax relief. So take advantage of this, and you know, get a lot of relief. Yeah. All right. Now, I have got another question from Cheryl. I'll probably answer to this Cheryl's question. Now, if my wife do pap smear test or mammogram, you know, would I be able to claim relief? Unfortunately, no. Unfortunately, no, Cheryl. By just doing pap smear test, mammogram, no. Unless this, of course, I hope you don't claim just because of this. Unless you say, you know, it was diagnosed that, you know, your wife has got some tumor, you know, of which you need to do pap smear test to you know, check further. Then yes, that is part of the treatment for serious disease. But I hope you don't do that. Yeah, all right. But just a mere preventive test for pap smear and mammogram, unfortunately, no, you don't get relief. All right, let me carry on. Okay, wow, I like this for Chua Sui. Now, Chua Sui was asking, is e-invoicing related to insurance life advisor or agent? Definitely yes. Definitely yes. Now, let me tell you why yes. Okay. Now, first of all, if you are an agent, okay, or a life advisor, you will be running a business, okay? Even a freelancer, you'll be running a business, yeah? So as long as you're running a business, any business income that you are actually making, right, you have to issue invoice, isn't it? And you have to issue e-invoice. You have to issue e-invoice for the business income that you make, okay? Whether you're a Sendran Berhad, a sole proprietorship, or a partnership, because you're running a business. And the other thing that I want to tell you is, as a life insurance, as an insurance agent, what you will be earning would be most probably commission, right? Commission from the insurance company, AIA. AIA pays you commission, isn't it? Now, in this case, there will be this thing called self-bill e-invoice. Now, it sounds very strange. Self-bill e-invoice, what does that mean? Does it mean that I issue invoice back to myself? It is. But now, this is not done by you. It's done by AIA. So here I want to probably tell Lawrence as well. I want to tell AIA as well, right? As an insurance company, whenever you pay commission to agents, after calculating how much commission is to be paid, the company, the AIA, the insurance company, would need to do a self-billed e-invoice to show how much the agent is earning, how much commissions the agent is earning, and give a copy to the agent, keep a copy with the company, because this is the proof of expense of the company, proof of income of the agent. This is what we call self-billed e-invoice. Yeah. So of course, I can't go very in-depth into e-invoice, but just to remind you, these are the things relating to agents. All right, let me carry on. I still have some time. Yeah. Right. I'll just look into Tae Heng Wai's question. Okay, Tae Heng Wai has this question that hold on. Wait, I thought, what are the detailed and requirement for EV car rental to fulfill the deduction? Now, there's not much detail. In fact, as long as you rent an EV, a full EV, I'm not talking about hybrid, right? I'm not talking about hybrid. Hybrid is not full EV. If you rent a full EV, that means running 100% on electricity only. Yeah. Now you rent a car, you pay the rental, all these. If you say the car is for business purpose, you can claim tax deduction. You can, and you can claim up to 300,000 tax deduction on all the rental income that you have paid. Yeah. So throughout the whole lifetime of the rental of the car, you can claim up to 300,000. Okay. Now, let me carry on. Yeah. And well, Tan Jianhua was asking this, what is MBAN? And also ask how to register as an angel investor. MBAN is the Malaysian Business Angel Network. To register as an angel investor, you got to go to MBAN and register yourself. So Tan Jianhua, how to register? Now, I won't tell you the whole procedure, but what you can do is very simple. Just go Google MBAN. Google MBAN, right? Look into the requirements and how to become an angel investor, because you have to have high net worth, or you have to be earning a high income. There are some requirements over there. If you fulfill the requirements, register yourself as an angel investor, and yeah, you get to invest and and get some tax incentives. All right, now let me carry on. I have some more questions over here from Chai Pui. Okay, good. Now Chai Pui is asking, I'm a breast cancer survivor. Every year need to do mammogram, and I'm able to claim. Absolutely yes, Chai Pui, because you have been diagnosed with cancer, and this is follow-up treatment. So you would claim all your mammogram expenses, yeah, on the serious disease tax relief, which is now up to 10,000 ringgit every year. All right. Yes, you can claim tax relief for this. All right, carry on. I'll probably answer to 2 more questions, and let me just look at. Hold on. Okay, Tan Jianhua has another question about how to know whether the product bought from Shopee or Lazada got MGTC. I think you're talking about LVGT. I think you're talking about the low value goods tax. How do you know? Upon checkout, you will know. When you want to make payment, if you see the seller is charging you the 10% low value goods tax, that means it's subject to low value goods tax. Because when the seller is registered, they will charge you. But if the seller has not registered or not required to be registered, then they will not charge you. So that's the easiest way to know, yeah, whether the product bought, has got low value goods tax or not. All right. Let me answer to one more. Let me see. Okay, I'll answer to this one. Yao Wei Xin. Okay, Yao Wei Xin was asking if I rent a house and I leave, but I rent out my other rooms. Okay, do I need to declare and pay tax for the rental I receive? What do you think, Yao Wei Xin? Obviously, yes. This is your income, isn't it? Yeah, I know you're staying in the house, but well, you're earning income, you're earning rental income from your rooms that you have rented out. So definitely these are your rental income. And yes, you still have to declare all this as your rental income in your income tax return. All right. Now, so let me just remind you all, if you want to know more about tax tips, how to save tax and things like that, follow my TikTok. In TikTok, I will be telling you more about how to save tax, and I'm presenting it in Malay, in Bahasa Malaysia. Yes, TikTok, I'll be presenting it in Bahasa Malaysia. And of course, on my Facebook page, Tax Guru Zen Chow, you will get a lot of tax updates, a lot of tax articles, videos as well. All right. So I think that's all from me. I'll pass this back to Lawrence. Yeah, Lawrence, this is all back to you.
Wow, such a great, amazing sessions by Jen Chow today. So guys, let's have a round of applause for Jen. Silently in your heart, let's thank you, Jen, for coming to share with us and all that. All right, I believe you learned a lot from Jen today. The values, the informations, it could be useful for not only yourself. Remember, it could be also useful for your prospect. Let me remind you once again. So providing values to your prospect, like I said in the early beginning of the session is actually the key to drive a successful business. So Zen, if you don't mind, let me just hijack the screen.
No problem.
All right.
Definitely okay.
Okay, let me share with you on the QR code where you can scan to give your feedbacks and review. Okay, sekejap ya guys. Kat mana? Okay, kat sini. Baru jumpa. All right, guys. So with that, officially, we are coming to an end of the sessions. So before you go, kindly scan the QR code on the screen. Like I said, if you want to see more similar contents or topics in the future, you can drop it down in the form, or any topics or content that you wish to see, you can also drop it down in the form as well, yeah? So after you have filled up the form, you may type thank you and leave the sessions, and the live event will be ended in another 5 minutes, and I will see you again in the next sessions. Bye-bye. Happy Chinese New Year for those who are celebrating. Thank you, Zen, once again. Thank you. Thank you to all of you for coming. I will see you next time. Bye-bye.
Thank you all. Thank you. Bye-bye. Happy Chinese New Year, everyone. Bye.